Hello,
Now,
guys,
yes.
and welcome to Odds Serie A Matchday 5. We just finished Matchday 4 on Thursday with some surprises. Danny, and we are ready to enjoy a super Saturday. How are you, Danny? Danny? Hello?
Hey, I can see you. Internet is playing up. Edu, here we are.
Yeah, Danny. So tell me, what do you think about this match day that we just finished, the fourth match day?
There were a lot of changes, a lot of rotations for some teams. Not everything worked out as the manager thought. I think Napoli, for example, make a lot of changes. It's very good Lecce, and I think it's a bit of a surprise to have Roma and Atalanta top of the league at this stage. But now we got a very exciting with three for the Champions League. I think that's really when things are gonna spice up, and we're gonna see perhaps a bit more distance between the top teams and the other minor teams. We'll see, because I think it's very, very balanced.
Let's enjoy this Super Saturday with the Derby de la Madonnina, for instance. So, guys, leave your comments, press the like, and subscribe. And now let's go on with the show. We had some internet issues. Hopefully, from now on, everything is okay, because, as I said, we have a Super Saturday with the first interesting game. This is a high rivalry game, especially for the Viola, Fiorentina, Juventus. And last season, we have to remember, of course, that Vlahovic, Fiorentina star, went to Juventus. This is a test for the Bianconeri, Dani, after beating Spezia at home, as we expected. We have to remember that they drew in the only game they played away against Sampdoria. They are playing in the Champions League against PSG, and it's never easy for Juventus to go to the Artemio Franchi. Last season, for instance, they lost in Serie A 2-0.
Yeah, they did. They won the Coppa Italia in Coppa Italia side in very lucky circumstance in the last minute. The question with Juventus is how many chances they can create, how many services they can give to Vlahovic. It's been a bit isolated, so he decided to start scoring from free kick. That's the issue with Juventus, controlling the game and creating chances. I'm expecting Vlahovic, of course, to start, probably Di Maria to start as well. Let's see how fit he is, because probably we didn't expect him to be back already after his injury. 3 clean sheets in a row for Juventus, which is a good sign, although the calendar has not been too difficult for them. You can expect Juventus to score early, and then the game could be boring, because they're gonna sit back, they manage the game. Although the first half against Roma was the best a very long while. They had the game dominated. They had the game when they wanted, and they should have scored more goals. Let's see. They are consistent. They are not beautiful, but it doesn't matter, because at the time of the season, they got 8 points. Last season, they got 4 points, and that will start posting them in. Last 8 games between these two sides, 6 have been under 2.5 goals. But I think both are going to score here. Although Fiorentina have had these issues because they haven't scored in the last 4 games, they can keep the ball really well. They can be aggressive. They showed it against Napoli. They really troubled them. And I think all depends on the changes that Italiano is going to make. Because Italiano loves making 8 or 9 changes from week to week. He made 9 changes at Udine. They lost, even left out Milankovic. Then he made 9 changes the week before, the game before at Empoli. Let's see, because they had to play with the best 11 here. And let's see if they play again with the 4-3-3 with Barak in midfield, and then Sotil, Icone, and Jovic up front. And I think that would be interesting, because it will be a really attacking force, leaving Amrabat and Bonaventura in the middle of the field. Let's see how it goes, because I think Fiorentina, they seem to me a little bit better this season at managing games, especially in second half. Alvis, last season they were starting games 100 miles an hour and then were dipping down. That's why they lost many big games at home against Inter, against Napoli, against Lazio. This time they seem a little bit better. So for this one, I'm going to go for a Fiorentina Asian handicap in the second half, 207, which doesn't mean they necessarily have to win the game, but if they do not lose the second half, if they win the second half, you win 207. If they draw the second half, you get your money back.
Okay.
Also
Asian handicap
considering
0.
how badly Juventus in second halves have played so far.
Okay, Fiorentina Asian handicap 0 in the second half. As Danny said, 4 games without scoring Fiorentina. They are also playing in Europe in the conference. And in this Super Saturday, we have Derby de la Madonnina. We have Milan-Inter, with Inter ahead of Milan after winning easily at home against Cremonese. Another tough encounter for Inter in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. Whereas for Milan, Danny, you expected them to win at Sassuolo, but they were even this close to lose because Maignan saved a penalty. Last season was a 0-0 playing in Milan in the Serie A. Of course, they faced each other many times last season. Key game, you mentioned in the previous video that this is Partita Scudetto, is early days, but I think we can see where these clubs are heading at least.
Yeah, I think they're heading in opposite directions. I think they are both strong. There is a lot of talk in Italy that Inter are stronger than Milan. I don't see it at the moment. I don't think they are that better than Milan, even numerically. Milan have got more players, have got more choices, and they got a younger squad. Inter are buying all the players and proven professionals. But I think Milan future, if the signings go well, looks brighter. Let's see, because Inter had some issues against Cremonese. Okay, 3-1, but they left a few chances to Cremonese that against a good side, they're going to go under. And Milan kept a clean sheet against Sassuolo, but only because Maignan saved the penalty. So the issues for me with the two teams are, for Milan on the right-hand side, who's going to play, whether it's Salemaker or it's going to be Messias. None of them seem to be really having an impact, especially when they start from the beginning. And Milan might be a little bit short in attack because there is no Origi, there is no Rebic, of course, there is no Ibrahimovic. For Inter, the issues are at the back because they have conceded in 3 out of 4 in Serie A. They conceded in all the games in pre-season. We know that 3 centre-backs are really good, but maybe it's because of the transfer rumors linking Skriniar to PSG. They were a little bit unsettled. We know Inter can score. They score in 16 consecutive games. They got 6 different goal scorers so far in Serie A, but I don't think the problems are far from over. And also the issues on the left-hand side where once there was Perisic. For me, it's big. Both teams have got a lot of character, got a lot of experience, players who have played these games many, many times. Dzeko is going to start up front for Inter, so it's going to be important the way he dropped deep and allowed the runs of Barella and Çalhanoğlu. So Barella and Çalhanoğlu to score could be a good one. I think they'll have chances. On the other side, of course, Leao, Giroud to score 2 in the derby that Milan won. I mean, obviously, the one to look for. But I'm going to go for something slightly different here because it's very difficult to pick a winner. Let's not forget, often these derbies finishes in a draw or 1-1, for example. It's been a very common result, sometimes even 2-2. Normally, people think that the derbies are very feisty encounters. There are a lot of cards. The players show their nerves. But actually, in the recent history of the derby of Milan, there haven't been many cards. Last season, when Milan won 2-1, there have been 8 cards and 2. But that was the exception. Normally, the last 4 cards, so very, very correct derby with a lot of passion, with a lot of intensity, but not many fouls, if you like. And I like the choice of the Italian Federation. The referee that's been chosen for this one is Daniele Fisichella. He's a referee that lets the play flow. He's a little bit English in this case. And if you look at his stats, in the last 2 seasons, he has given an average of 3.9 less than 4 cards each game. So not many. And I think it's a good choice. This game has to flow, absolutely. Also, there is no Lukaku. There are no Ibra who could spice things up after their row a couple of years ago. So I'm going to go for under 5 cards, which is 190. So if there are only 5 cards in the game, that's red or yellow combined, you get your money back. Under 5 cards, you win 190.
Okay, funny choice, especially for a derby. Innocent is going for over 2.5 goals. Let me know, guys, your tips for this huge game between Milan and Inter, and actually the odds are shifting. We are seeing 2.88 for Milan to win. If we check now Oddspedia website, it depends on the country you are, but I can see as high as 3.15. So I'm seeing right now Inter as favorites, like the odds are showing us here, but it's going to shift, and this is a very balanced derby, very hard to pick a winner, as Danny is saying, and perhaps is a better option to make some money the next game, Lazio Napoli, because we see that Napoli is the favorite for this game, but remember that Lazio were able to beat Inter just 1 week ago when they were playing at home, and thanks to Danny, we made some money also in the midweek games because Ciro Immobile, as Danny said, scored in the draw against Sampdoria, Napoli playing in the Champions League against Liverpool, and again, Danny dropping points against weak teams at home. This was their problem also last season, so this one is a tough one for Napoli to bounce back after that draw against Lecce.
Totally, very tough. Only 8 points in the table for Napoli, and this is the worst start of the season since 2015. 2 weeks ago we were saying how good Napoli were, and now they're having this very, very bad spell. But I think against Lecce, too many changes, 6 changes. And, a change in formation in 4-2-3-1, which didn't work out, and Spalletti tried to accommodate Raspadori and Osimhen, didn't work. In the second half, better with 4-3-3 with Lozano, Politano. I'm expecting Napoli to go with a 4-3-3 again and with their best 11. Lazio will have a lot of regrets against Sampdoria. They dominated the game. They should have scored couple of goals. They had a lot of the ball. They need to be a little bit more clinical and don't make the same mistakes they did last year. But they didn't make many changes for that game. Actually, I think they played the same 11 that beat Inter. Let's see if the players are tired. But some Lazio players are in really, really good form. Milinkovic-Savic and Romagnoli at the back is having a very good season so far. Normally, in these games, there are always lots of goals. Four of the last 5 have been over 2.5 goals. 3 out of 5 have been both to score. The draw, though, is not a result that often happen between Lazio and Napoli. Only 2 draws in the last 18 games. So you might fancy a draw here, which pays really, really well. 376, considering how balanced it's going to be. No turnover. I'm not expecting no turnover for any of this team. Be cautious here. Lazio Asian handicap 0 in the first half pays amazingly well. 2.12. I mean, Lazio beaten Inter a week ago. And now they're not the favorites against Napoli, playing at home and seeing how deep Sarri's squad is. So yeah, Lazio Asian handicap 0 in the first half, 2.12.
Okay, I think it's a good idea actually going for Lazio in this game. Lazio is in handicap 0 is Danny's pick in the first half. Both teams to score for Corello is telling us, welcome Corello, by the way, we haven't seen you yet here. Hello, Marco as well. He's going for a draw in this game. If we check the stats of the Serie A, for instance, Napoli is the top scorer with 10 goals, Lazio 6 goals, so perhaps we see goals in the Olimpico. Surprise to see Napoli favorite. By the way, Lazio is playing against Feyenoord in the Europa League. We have a very nice Saturday in Serie A. On Sunday, we have less good games, we can say, starting with exactly. With the morning game, Cremonese, Sassuolo, unsexy game, as we can say. 0 points for Cremonese. What a goal, by the way, scored by Okereke in San Siro. 0 points, as I said, for Cremonese. So, Dani, Sassuolo, they are favorites for this game, but their only victory was against Lecce this season. Now they have to win away.
Lot of praises for Cremonese. Everyone says how good they're playing, how positive they've been. 0 points. So let's see if they start making some points, especially with oppositions that could be at their level, although Sassuolo is much more experienced. What I like about Cremonese is that they go for it. What I didn't like is that they've been very naive against Inter. They conceded 3 goals on the counter-attack at San Siro. That's a little bit criminal, but they're showing good quality. They're playing with Okereke and Dessers up front. It's interesting to watch. Let's see if they can score against smaller teams. That's the big question, and that's where the salvation is going to go for them. Sassuolo, a bit strange because they didn't concede against Milan, so that's the second clean sheet so far of the season, where normally they do concede a lot of goals. I think midfield Sassuolo against very technical and physical side, they're going to suffer with Frattesi, Lopez and Forsved. They're going to be overrun. With Cremonese, is more of a matchup in terms of who's going to nominate the midfield. But there's a big question mark for Sassuolo, how long they're going to miss Berardi for. He's going to be injured. And will we see Agustin Alvarez from the start? Because, let's not forget, they need to replace the goals of Scamacca and the goals of Raspadori. And so far, it's been a little bit hit and miss. I like the under here. I think the under 2.75 goals is nice. 205, considering Sassuolo missed the top goal scorers. And Cremonese, let's see how many they can score. But, if they score 3 goals, you only lose half your stake.
Okay, this game is for an under. Eric is telling us that he didn't get the Lazio prediction. Was Lazio Asian handicap 0 in the first half? So Lazio is not losing this first half. This is not really appealing. The Cremonese Sassuolo, Spezia Bologna. I'm not sure if it's more appealing and very difficult, I think, to predict, especially because this Bologna is not clicking. Still no victories, 2 points. They couldn't beat Salernitana on Thursday away. They had a very tough calendar, Milan and Lazio. So 0 points for them, actually, when they were playing away, Danny. Whereas for Spezia, they were able to beat Empoli in the opening day. And I cannot get, actually, why Bologna is favorite for this game.
I cannot get it either. I don't understand it. I think Bologna lack a lot of goals. If Arnautovic doesn't score, if Arnautovic is not in a good day, they are toothless. Against Salernitana, again, only 1 goal scored, then a mistake by Skorupski. He's a weaker team than last year, for sure. And they go to, and last year they didn't even win that many games away. So I don't understand why they're favorite. I think with Spezia, we'll see a different Spezia depending who they play. If they play away against a top team, they will be defeated. They will hardly score a goal. We saw them really being passive against Inter and against Juventus. I know it's tough, but they're not going to go for it as they did in previous season with Italiano and Thiago Motta. Gotti knows which games he needs to target, which games he needs to win. He knows how they need to keep it tight. Maybe here they're going to come out a little bit more offensively with 3 up front, Verde, Gyasi, and Zola. Difficult to see. If Spezia wins, it's a win 2-0, I would imagine. I can't think of them scoring too many goals. This is a difficult one. I like the both to score 238.
It's good this match day, I think, for the under or for the draws, because we have really balanced games. For instance, in the next one, I guess we won't see many goals as well in the Bentegodi. We have Verona, Sampdoria. Why I say that? Because Sampdoria only scored 1 goal so far in this Serie A. Gabbiadini scored in the very last minute against Lazio. Only 1 score, 1 point. For Sampdoria, 2 points actually, because they drew also against Juventus, whereas for Verona, also 2 points. They lost both games played in the Bentegodi against Napoli and Atalanta. So, Danny, neither Verona nor Sampdoria know how to win a football game in this Serie A.
Yeah, still no wins. Very, very, very difficult start of the season for them. I think they're both weaker from last season because Verona has lost Caprari, Barak, and Simeone, and hasn't replaced them yet, or has replaced every players that we don't know. Sampdoria hasn't strengthened enough. Let's see, Verona's done a bit of business in the last day of transfer. Verdi, who's been very good at Salernitana last season and got them saved. You got Rustic from Eintracht Frankfurt. He's a younger team, Verona. They're not going to just be easy to beat, but they need to improve a lot. Sampdoria, I think they were even surprised they found that goal against Lazio. They should have lost, could have lost. Look really disorganized, really disjointed. Let's see who's going to put a bit of order in the middle of the field. Will it be Villar? Will it be Harry Winks from the first minute? We'll see. Still, they're going to go with only Caputo up front. And I don't think they got enough firepower, considering also Candreva is not playing for them anymore. Under 2.5 goals here, 199.
All right, another under. Again, I don't see many goals in this Sunday as well in the Serie A. Udinese Roma is our next game, and well, if we follow also Roma's trend, we will see many goals in Friuli. Last season was a 1-1. Pellegrini scored a penalty in the very last minute, but this is a different Roma. I think it's a better Roma, and Dybala is playing really well, not only for the brace scored against Monza, but in general, he is playing very well in this start of Serie A, Dani, but this is another challenge for Roma. They were able to draw, probably it was undeserved in the Juventus stadium, and going to Udine, especially with this Udinese with Beto scoring, it won't be easy.
No, it won't, because Udinese are going to play the same system as Roma, 3-5-2, and they're going to defend hard. They're going to be tough to beat. They are very organized. They are a physical side as well, which Roma might suffer against, especially on that ball situation on corners. Roma scores a lot of goals for corners, also did last season. You know, the back three of Udinese are good, are experienced. Messina, Becao, Nuitink, the new signing, Bihol, having a good season so far. I don't think Udinese are going to make the mistake that Monza did against Roma. They got caught in possession in the opposition half, and then Roma exploited the counter-attack. Roma effective, maybe not as good, as beautiful as we hoped they were going to be, with a little bit more self-belief. I think they got a lot of room to make, but, you know, a good start of the season helped by a very easy calendar, I must say. The first half of Juventus wasn't great. Let's see if they're going to be a chance for Bellotti here, who they just signed. I think we're going to see back Karsdorp and Spinazzola. Mourinho going to do turnover for Roma. Last year they were 15. 4 out of the last 5 games have been under 2.5 goals. 8 out of the last 8 of the last 9 have been both to score no. For this reason, I go for a tight game, Udinese or draw. That pays to half a unit.
Okay, then it's going for a double chance for Udinese. Surprise, Dybala. Apart from playing well, he's showing character, especially, for instance, in the second goal. He scored the other day against Monza after the deflection from the goalkeeper in the counter-attack. So Dybala is fitting really well in this Roma. Perhaps this is why Ankur is telling us that Roma will win the league. They need Bellotti also up front for that. He was making his debut, actually, the other day, and he was very close to score a goal. He missed a very clear chance the other day. Bellotti coming from Torino as a free agent. Torino playing on Monday, but before we arrive to this Torino-Lecce, we have 2 more games to analyze. First one is Salernitana Empoli. Salernitana, one of the biggest surprises also in this start of Serie A. We thought that they were going to get relegated last season, but they ended up really well this season, and so they are doing as well this year. 5 points, they got a draw in Bologna. The only defeat was against Roma, and what is more important, they are not conceding goals. Perhaps they can also surprise Empoli. No victories yet for the Tuscany team. 3 points, this Empoli. Dani is seeing most of their games with under 2.5 goals. Actually, all 4 games under 2.5 goals. Another game without many goals. Do you expect here in the south of Italy?
It is difficult because this Empoli side is the side that's drawn most games since the start of 2022. I don't think they got enough goals in it. It's a young team. They can improve. Last season, their form at the end of the year was awful. So I can understand why Salernitana could be slightly favorite with Nicola. They are organized, they are tight, they are compact. They don't concede many goals, and they can capitalize. You know, they're very clinical as well. This is probably one of the worst one to bet on. Anything could happen. You might want to go for under 2.5 goals here. Keep it simple. 2-13. After all, both attacks have not been great so far, apart from Salernitana trashing Sampdoria 4-0, but I think that was an exception.
Let's cross Italy from Salerno to Monza. Monza, Atalanta. If we check the standings, we are seeing top of the table, Atalanta against bottom of the table, Monza, with 0 points, only 2 goals scored, and the odds for Atalanta to win is 1.6. Danny, should we take these odds for Atalanta to win?
But you might want to take it for an ACCA or for a best bet, I think. We can see how different is Atalanta looking this season without European football. You know, they don't need to rotate. They don't need to worry too much about having a deep squad. Gasperini, little by little, is finding the right balance. The only concern for Atalanta is that the strikers don't score. Neither Zapata nor Muriel seems in great form. I think there are going to be more chances for Lukman, while Boga seems to be on his way. Against Torino, very good display, goals from Cup Miners. They look good. I mean, it was a good game considering how poor they've been at home recently. For Monza, I don't know whether it's a question of time, having so many new signings and they need to gel together, or a question of approach. Sometimes they try to play too much the nice stuff. They have too much possession in the opposition half. If you don't have the quality to keep it, you're going to lose the ball and expose yourself. And they seem to start game quite slowly. The Atalanta wing doesn't pay very well. So I went for corners. I think Atalanta are going to have more chances, more attacks, more shots on target. Hopefully, if we're going to put our bet on corners, they're going to have more than 2.5 corners than Monza and give you a 185 return.
Danny, going for Asian Handicap corners for Atalanta. Angela, welcome back, by the way. Angela, going for Monza to win. This is a huge surprise. Of course, we have Cremonese and Monza, the two newly promoted teams, with 0 points. The other newly promoted teams is Lecce, the only one that is getting at least draws, 2 points. They were the biggest surprise of the last match day with that draw in the Diego Armando Maradona in Naples, and now they are playing against Torino with 7 points. Torino, their first defeat was against Atalanta this season, but so far they've beaten Monza and Cremonese, the other two newly promoted teams. Danny, should we go also for Torino to win here?
I think I would, because I think that we're going to bounce back, and they showed very good spirit. They played in the first beginning of the season. You know, a defeat at Bergamo is on the cards. They made some individual mistakes. There were some changes in the formation from Juric as well. It's difficult for them to play 3 games in a week. I think against Lecce, for the price, 180, I would take the home win. Last season, Torino home, they were good. But nothing to take away from Lecce. The best newly promoted side so far, organized. People have spoken a lot about their recruitment, but they got some very good players in there. And they never give up, and they don't just surrender and sit back. I think they're balanced. That's how I will define them. It could be a win for Torino with over 2.5 goals. Never discard Lecce to score one. They're going to create chances. But yeah, Torino to win at 180 is really appealing.
Okay, the recruitment of Lecce, for instance, Umtiti. Very quick, Danny, Ibrahim is asking you if Atalanta can finish top 4 this season.
If Gasperini finds the right balance and they add a little bit more of creativity, I mean, Malinowski hasn't gone anywhere, so that's good for them. They need to have continuity in Malinowski for the creativity, balance in midfield with the wing backs, but they have the great advantage. They're not going to play the European Cups, and this is so important also in the World Cup year. So it would be a surprise, but let's not underestimate Gasperini and how well he managed the team and how well he can find solutions every year.
It's going to be funny the next 2-3 weeks with European football and then Serie A. Let's see how all the European teams perform with this busy schedule. Corello is going
also,
for both.
In Atalanta, we have to say that normally in previous season, they always started the season very slowly and then caught up at the end, apart from last year. This year seems to be the opposite. They started strongly. And that could be really different. If I look at the start, 5 or 6 games in 2-3 previous seasons, they always had trouble.
Mm-hmm. The Italian teams, by the way, they have very tough fixtures in this European Match day, the first one, but it will come next week. We will analyze Champions League and Europa League. Danny, to finish this video, let's go with your safe bet, if we can call it safe, your preferred bet for this match day.
Milan-Inter, the Derby della Madonnina, both to score. These are Italy's two best teams, I think by far, because of players, because of identity, because of firepower. But they also got frailties at the back, they showed. So both to score. It could be an exciting derby if you like, but that's my safe bet.
Okay, Eric is telling us that the game is sexy, this one, so both teams to score over 2.5 goals in the Derby de la Madonnina. Remember to leave your comments, Danny, and your ACCA.
Okay, 4 games as always. Lazio-Napoli, 1x, so Lazio not going to lose. Cremonese, Sassuolo, the same. I think first points for the newly promoted side. Verona and Sampdoria, I cannot see them losing. I can't see Sampdoria scoring more than 1 goal. And the Salernitana Empoli under. Not great attacks here. Under 1.5 goals in the first half. The total odds is 6 times your stake, so 6-11.
Thank you, Danny. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like our channel, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Ciao, speak soon.